This is Leah with Backyard Homestead in Starkville, Mississippi, and it is Monday, March 30th, and we are out planting our Silver Queen sweet corn this morning. And it is really, really wet, so we're not trying to row the garden up at all to do this corn. We're just taking the hoe and digging a little trench to plant our corn seed, and then as it starts to grow, when we get ready to hill it up, then we'll kind of do a little bit of furrows and just pull the soil from around it to hill it. But for right now, we're just digging a trench and going back through and putting in the corn seed. I'll show you that in a minute, and then covering it up. This is our stick we're using to measure how far apart to put the rows, and then we're just popping a line to keep the rows straight. And Alan's chopping the little furrow to put the seeds in, and I'm going back and planting the seeds. And I am going back and planting, and then just covering with dirt, using the hoe to cover with dirt and tamping it down. And that's it. And then we'll come back again, like I said, after it grows a little, and we'll come back and hill it up as it grows. Okay, so we planted our Silver Queen sweet corn in this area, and we got 14 rows rowed up, planted, and ready. And now we are over here preparing this row against this fence. We're about to plant our bush green beans. We're going to plant Contender bush green beans right here. We got this row ready, rowed it up, and planted our Contender bush green beans. Covering them up now. Tamping them in. That's about it. We're out here, and we planted another row of Contender bush green beans over here on this fence, but I mean, it's just so wet, we're basically having to just poke the seeds down in the mud. So we're trying it. We'll see how it goes. We may end up replanting, but we just dug a little ditch, a little furrow here, and planted the seeds, and then tucked them in the mud and pulled up dirt to cover them as best we could. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll dry out soon. Okay, today is Sunday, April 5th, and we're out playing in the garden. And I just did a little light weeding in the asparagus bed, and now I'm going to go back and mulch with pine straw. But we have asparagus in the back portion of the bed, and then this is spinach from here back in the front part of the bed. And this is lettuce in the cinder blocks in the front of the bed. Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of the lettuce in the front. This is Little Gem lettuce, and then this is spinach, and then in the back you have asparagus. So I'm about to mulch this with pine straw. Okay, there is some asparagus here ready to pick, and some that's a little immature, but I'm going to go ahead and pick all of this asparagus just to make it easier to mulch. That way I can just mulch straight across the back. So even though it's a little small, there's several back there, I'm just going to go ahead and harvest all this asparagus. That way I can just mulch over the top of it. Got a decent little harvest of asparagus. I'll go in and weigh it in a little bit. Okay, and here is the asparagus bed, or the spinach bed, all nice and mulched. Some of the spinach is starting to bolt. Probably won't be too much longer, but we sure are enjoying it while it's lasting. I've had spinach almost every day for the past week. It's delicious. Okay, it is Monday, April 6th, and we're out in the garden this morning, and we are going, let me wing you over this way. The garden's really starting to grow now. It's looking really pretty. And this morning we got out and planted this row of cucumbers. And so we're just pulling back the pine straw mulch, putting in the cucumbers we already had started from seed. And then on this side of the row, we are about to plant Siberian kale. And we started these from seeds in these flats. And so we're going to do the same thing. We went ahead and put down our pine straw mulch. And so we're just going to scrape back a little place and then set the plants in. So this row is going to be Siberian kale. And then this row, we are going to put in squash that we have started from seed. Let me show you those plants. They're big and pretty. Sorry to spin you around so fast. This is a flat of squash. And this is our other flat of squash, and we're going to set these out this morning. We've got a bunch of pretty peppers going, and then a bunch of lettuces we're going to set around today, and some pak choi. Alright, so this is our setup. I've got an old feed sack I'm using for my kneeling pad out in the garden. We went through, on our walk yesterday, we found more grass bags that were sitting out for us. So we've got grass in the aisles, and then we mulch with pine straw where we're going to plant. And then we have our soil ready. I'm just going to dig out a little scoop, and then this is some black kale and some worm castings, and had an old bag of potting soil found mixed in with that. So we're using this to set the plants out. So I just decide where I want to put it and just dig a little spot back. Dig the place I want to put it. I'm going to just put the plant in and then go around it with our little soil mixture here. And that's going to be it. I'm going to go around, make sure, get all the air out, kind of pack the soil in. And then after that, pull the pine straw back up around where it was. And that's it. We're going to go down the whole row with these. We'll come back and show you what the row looks like when we're done. Alright, did that. On this side is National Pickling cucumbers. And then on this side of the fence, we have Siberian kale. And it's planted and mulched and ready to go. And then over here, we are going to transplant our squash that we started from seed. And this is Roma tomatoes that have volunteered in our worm casting bucket. Pretty funny. Okay, got the squash planted. It looks pretty. Did little hills of 3 and spaced over. Did another little hill of 3. But they are planted, mulched in, and this is yellow straight neck squash. So we planted the squash today. Over in that row is the Siberian kale, and on the other side of the fence is our pickling cucumbers. Okay, so this is a flat of pak choi we've started from seed, and we're going to take it and transplant it now. Let me show you the row we're going to put it on. Do a slow pan across this garden. Everything's starting to come on. We are going to plant it over here out in front of this row of the sugar snap, or the Oregon sugar pod, in front of these sugar snap peas. We're going to plant it down. We've already got this mulched over, so we're going to plant it in this row where the pine straw is. Hey, it is Tuesday morning, April 7th, and it's early in the morning out here, and it's starting to rain, but we're going to try to get a little bit done. We've enjoyed these mustards. They went to seed, but they've been bringing in wasps and bumblebees. Haven't seen many honeybees, but it's been fun to watch. But we're getting these out of the way today. We're going to rip them off at the ground, feed the greens to the chickens, and we're going to plant 2 rows of bush green beans here, 1 row of Contender and 1 row of Provider. So if it doesn't start raining too hard, we're going to do that right now. Alright, we're still out here playing in the garden, and we were waiting on these carrots to get finished so we can plant our potatoes in these buckets. So we want to do a check and see how our carrots are doing. And that is a gorgeous carrot. Long, straight, pretty, but definitely not ready. So we are going to have to let these guys keep going for a while. So no potatoes in buckets today, but look at that carrot. This is the longest, straightest, prettiest carrot we've had in a long time. I have high hopes for these. Alright, I'm going to try another one. This is in the bucket on the patio. Let's see. This foliage looks most ready, maybe. Uh-oh. Ooh. Again, long, straight, pretty carrot. Yep. Needs more time though, but I'm excited. We might actually get some beautiful carrots this year. I'm going to go over and try one of those buckets beside the onion bed now. All right, I am going to try one of these. I'm trying to find the biggest, prettiest one. This one looks good. Looks pretty big at the base. Let me try him. Here we go. Oh, they're gorgeous. These are getting close. I think they've got some more room to go, but look how beautiful. That is a picture. Yeah, we haven't thinned these at all. We just sowed direct in these buckets, and they look thick as they can be, but they are doing well. I gotta pull one more. This bucket's huge. All right, let me pull one of these, and I'm gonna leave them alone. This is a big base too. All right, here we go. Oops. He's nowhere near ready, but still looking pretty. I'm so excited. We're going to get pretty carrots this year. I'm getting excited about the garden now. It's starting to look like a garden. This is a squash we planted yesterday, and it looked like it transplanted really, really well. The leaves are all firm and pretty, not showing any sign of damage or wilting. The Siberian kale we planted over here is doing great. And our cucumbers look like they took to transplant pretty well. It's supposed to settle in and rain today, kind of slow and soft all day, so rain everything in well. These are the 2 rows of beans we just planted, and here's my pine straw. I'm getting ready to go down and pine straw, mulch down both sides of the rows. But everything's looking good. And we planted Provider on this side and Contender on this side, so we'll see which ones do better for us this year. Okay, we've got our 2 rows of green beans planted and then mulched with pine straw. And again, these are the Provider green beans in this row, and these are the Contenders. Then I went ahead and mulched this row of the Oregon sugar pod, the snow peas, and mulched over this row. And we have green beans planted here, but nothing's coming up yet. Then over here in this area by our fruit trees, we had a little compost pile, so we spread it out, and then we planted some of those lettuces that we had started from seed in the flats in this area. And just have a nice little lettuce bed over here in the shadier area. Yeah, and we've had one of the rainiest springs on record this year. We've had as much rain this time as usually by the end of June, but because we don't till, we're able to get out here and go ahead and work in the garden and plant. If we were waiting until this got dry enough to till, I don't know when we'd get to do it. All right, these 2 flats, there's a toad hiding from us. Scared him to death. Okay, this flat is squash, and that flat is squash, and they're the ones that are little smaller, and we didn't plant them yesterday, but we're going to keep these in flats and let them get bigger, and we're going to go set them over in the shade or a shadier area, get them off the patio, and that way we'll save them. So if we need to replace some that we planted yesterday that die, we'll have them. Saving that flat of cucumbers for the same reason, and also the Siberian kale. And these are peppers we started from seed. This is Swiss chard we started from seed, and these are more peppers that we started from seed, and we are about to pot up in our cups that we use every year, these Swiss chard, and maybe some of the peppers too, but definitely going to get the Swiss chard out of these and let them get some more size in cups. Okay, we're getting ready to move this log. It's been sitting on our patio. I was using it for a chopping block during the winter. Look at the worms under the log on concrete. And we have so many worms. They just find places. Now I'm going to scoop these guys up and throw them in the garden. But look at all of them. It's crazy. This is our 3rd year to use these cups. I burned the holes in the bottom with the soldering iron 3 years ago. And the first year we put Brandywine tomatoes in this cup. And last year we used them to pot Marconi Red, and right now we're about to pot up the Swiss chard like I was talking about, and we know what that looks like, so I don't need to label it. But these cups have been a good investment. All right, well, it started raining in earnest now, so I guess we'll go in for a while. But we got the Contender and the Provider beans planted. We got our Swiss chard transplanted out into cups. I don't know if you can see it out there. We got our peppers that were bigger, transplanted, moved over into larger cups to give them a little more room to move. We got the lettuce transplanted over in that side bed and got everything mulched and tucked in and ready to go. So I guess that's it for today. But everything's starting to grow now. It's starting to look like a garden. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching.